Good morning students, welcome back to Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School online classes. Students, today we are going to start with one of our another chapter, that is weavers, iron smelters and factory owners. First of all, if we talk about the particular chapter and we are going to talk about the British time period, what we found under Britishers, two factories were there in existence in which the Britishers used to focus, and these were either the textile industries or the iron and steel industries. Thereafter, students, let's talk about the Indian textiles and the world market. In the earlier phase, what we observed that one topic is there in this chapter, that is words tell us history. Like if you talk about the muslin cloth, if you talk about the calico cloth which is formed from or borrowed from Calcutta only, these clothes were very much popularized not only in India but in Europe as well. And Europe industrialists, they started protesting to their government that they want ban of Indian products or textiles in Europe. Why? Because even the Queen of Europe used to wear Indian clothes, and because of that Europeans were not able to sell their textiles produced by them. In earlier phase this thing was there. Now after some time, what happened? Europeans decide that they are going to be more technologically strong, so say they developed spinning jenny and many more machinery. Now when more technological investment or improvement was observed there in industrial sector in Europe, its effect could easily be seen in India as well. And what was that? Now all over the world, because you know this thing very well, machinery product is comparatively cheaper as compared to the good produced by hand. And Indian goods, Indian crafts, though they were costly but very fine quality. So the demand all over the world of the European textiles increases and the demand for Indian textile decreases. And as a result, what we saw in India, many Indian weavers, many Indian craft persons started losing their jobs, and in fact they were not allowed to export their products to other countries, because for that also they have to pay heavy tax duties. Thereafter, our next topic is sword of Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan's sword was made up of a particular type of steel, that is wood steel, which provide extremely fine edges to the sword, and that is even present there in Europe till now, very much popularized. Thereafter, next is abundant furnaces were observed in villages, bellows were there, and at last what we found? We found that there is sudden rise in the iron and steel factories in India. Now the question is, why we observed sudden rise in the iron and steel factories in India? The reason being, because at that movement First World War was going on, and all the factories, iron and steel factories that were present there in Europe, they were capable of meeting their needs only. They were not capable of exporting that iron or steel to India. So unfortunately or fortunately, you can say that even the Indian railways turned to your iron and steel factories in India, and at that time people started looking for more options of iron and steel ore. And at that time, one of the most popularized factory iron and steel industry, which is your TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Company, came into existence. Firstly, it got established in Sachi, Jamshedpur, and after its establishment till now, this particular company is rising and rising only and never seen back. And after that, you can see effects of national movement also seen on the iron and steel industries present in India, and about the various craft communities, iron communities that are present in India. Now, what's about that? Let's have a look, student. Now, if we talk about the effects of nationalist movement, what we found that different industrial classes, they started gaining education they became aware to this movement, they started becoming more stronger, they started pleading to the government for their protection. They are saying to the government that we want the protection. If heavy duties would be imposed on us, then how we are going to earn our livelihood? They just keep struggling with the Britishers, and finally they just get all their demands fulfilled and let them survive with the world market. With this, I end my chapter here only. I hope the chapter is very much clear to you and you understand the chapter very well. Thank you, students.